Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Munro Live Podcast. And I am here with Jerry Rig It All. Rig Everything. Yes, Jerry Rig Everything. So, Jerry, you just told me that it's 80 degrees in Utah, and here it's like probably 60 and drizzling. Something's wrong, you know? We got to go with electrification because Detroit should be warmer. This should be warmer than this. I'm positive of that. Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit's been that way since the dawn of time, though. So you knew what you were getting into by living there.
Yeah. My parents that's where they lived, and I got stuck. So it is what it is. But anyways, I've had a number of people asking about different things that maybe we could have or should have talked about. And one of them that we didn't do enough detail on because we were talking about the Rivian, but we apparently, according to the readers and the listeners, we were supposed to talk about the Cybertruck. So let me ask you first. What's your impression? First off, do you like the styling? Because that's usually the big differentiator, and then go down from there.
All right. So I have ridden in the Cybertruck. So at the launch event, I got inside, took a drive in it. When I was at the event, my first impression was like, this thing is awesome, but it is way too big. But then in recent pictures, I've seen that they've decreased the size quite a bit. And so that might bring it up to the size that I like of a truck. But at the same time, like I see pictures of it, and I bet it's like 50-50. Some pictures are like, wow, that vehicle is exquisite.
Yeah.
And then the other 50% of the time, I'm like, that is the dumbest looking piece of metal on the planet. And so it's like,
wow.
It is, I don't know, depending on the angle, it either looks amazing or it looks so dumb is the word, I guess.
Oh, no.
Gotta be the word.
Well, I'll tell you, I love it. I can't help it. Any angle is a good angle for me. I love the sharp angles. It's so radically different, and it's something new in the marketplace that I really feel, for me anyways, is a really good thing. And you're right.
Oh, for sure. I 100%.
Yeah.
The specs are probably going to be through the roof. Like we don't have those yet, obviously.
No.
But with Tesla and everything else they've done, like it's going to be the best truck on the planet for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it looks dumb half the time.
Well, are you going to be going down to this thing in Austin then, in October?
Assuming I'm not uninvited.
Oh,
it would be fun to go.
Well, that could be because what you just said. We'll cut that part out.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping to get a chance to fool around with it. I do like off-roading. I am looking forward to getting it and using it basically as my hunting truck. I've said this about a dozen times. I think that the Cybertruck is in a different mode than, let's say, the Rivian or the Lightning or anybody else for that matter. It's got everything that a hunter or a sportsman, let's say, would really like. You like off-roading, you like quads or bikes, motorcycles, scramblers, whatever. Yeah, you got the winner there. That thing I think is going to be just perfect for that. That wouldn't be my Rivian, my wife's Rivian. That would not be where I'd want to go. And the Lightning to me is a fabulous work truck, but I don't know what I'd do with it on a hunting trip. So I think there's 3 different kinds of classes that have come out now that are all about the same size, because I did look at the pictures that we were talking about earlier, and you're right. Some of them look a lot smaller than others, and I don't know whether that's just somebody fiddling around with the images or what it is. But I'm hoping that it's going to be something maybe about the size of the Rivian, maybe a little bit bigger, but not monster size.
So when I rode in it at the launch event, it was like Humvee size, like Ford Raptor width.
Yeah.
But now looking at a picture like last week, it has about, like I was looking at a picture where there's a Rivian and the Cybertruck parked in parking spaces next to each other.
Yeah.
And it looked like their wheel footprints were in about the same spots.
Really?
Which is way better than a Raptor or a Humvee.
Yeah, Humvee really doesn't appeal to me at all. Too heavy, too. I mean, it's old-fashioned design. It's been around for that style has been around for a long, long time. There's nothing revolutionary about it. I don't make too much comments. The guys don't like me already, so I don't want to pee on their parade. But I will tell you, I am looking forward to that thing. The range keeps fluctuating, the power keeps fluctuating. I don't really care what it is. I happen to like the way it looks, so I'm in all day long. That's going to be at least one of them is going to be mine. I'm asking for people that have got a reservation that might pop up soon. I'd like to get a couple of them, one for me and one for the Teardown here. So yeah, so we
the Teardowns would be super fascinating.
Yeah, and by the way, I have invited a couple of people if they're in the neighborhood or whatever. If you are, you feel free to come on down and have a look. So I think you might be interested in that. Yeah. So anyways,
just like last time, I think it was really cool seeing the walkthrough of the Rivian that you guys tore down.
Yeah. Well, the Rivian is interesting, but I think that the Cybertruck is going to be mesmerizing. It'll be definitely a step ahead of everything else we've ever done. I can't imagine how they're putting it together. I don't see enough bits and pieces to figure out how I'd glue it together. So I'm very, very interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Yeah. So the news today is that, and I got something posted on Twitter, and I hate to spring it on you. I should have given you a call or something, but there's this new BYD, and I think it's called Wing Wang. It's the Wing Wang or Ying Wang or something like that. And
I've not heard of it.
Nah, I never heard of it either. But I think a lot of people are going to get heard about it. It's a fairly large SUV, probably about the size you're sitting in, and it's an off-road vehicle, a true off-road vehicle. That's what they claim. Then comes the coup de grace. They take the thing and they drive it up to a cement pond, I think is what the Beverly Hillbillies used to call it. And they drive in, and I'm going, I wonder how deep they can get. And they go and drive in and drive in and drive in. And then they show you that the rear wheels are not touching anything. And then they power it across the lake or pond or whatever you want to call it, totally using the front wheels and the rear wheels for drive and turning. So when you turn the steering wheel, I guess, you're accelerating the wheels on the inboard side, let's say, and so like nearest to the driver. So then you can spin it around and you can head left, and then you turn the wheel in the other direction. So those wheels choke, and the other two wheels on the right-hand side will spin up, and you can, swim like a snake in the pond. So what do you think?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a lot of off-roaders going to say, where do I get one of those? So I'm going to tell you, I worked on the Defender, and we were working on a project where there used to be a thing called the Camel Trophy, and so you're basically what you go is from Lima, Peru, to someplace in Bolivia, or sorry, not Bolivia, but Brazil on the coast. It's always kind of like a mystery where you're going, and you have to go up mountains, ford streams, and everything else. So anyways, I was involved with one group that was trying to make this happen, and they thought that what they do is take one of the old life preservers out of an old aircraft, and they pop that underneath, and they had a little mechanism that would pop the life preserver, and then when you came to the lake, you could pull the life preserver, like the life raft, I should say. You could pull a cord, and now there's a life raft underneath you. So they went up and they drove it into the lake or whatever, and they pulled the cord and went bloop, bloop, blop, thump. Didn't work out real well. So if these guys have figured it out, I'm telling you, that's going to be very, very, very intriguing. A lot of guys are going to be looking at, how do I get one of those things in the country? I'm sure Biden will say there's no more amphibians ever allowed in the country again. So Chinese amphibians can't have that. Yeah.
Huh, who knows? I'm curious to see if they just if they're using the buoyancy of a sealed cab to keep it up, or if there's something else going on to help it float.
I really don't know. Like I say, after the podcast, you can have a look at it. It didn't become obvious to me. It does nosedive down, so when it travels, the front is actually what we would have called bows under, I guess, in a as you're traveling forward. So that makes me kind of nervous. But I'm guessing that if it's an expensive SUV, I'm sure that almost everything's going to be made out of aluminum or magnesium. They're going to be steel stamping anything there. From what I can gather by looking at some of the kanji, it looks like it's a very expensive car. Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
And even more expensive, it sinks to the bottom of the lake.
So anyways, what's going on in your life? What's happening? What are you working on?
I would say the biggest things right now. So we have a wheelchair business. We started manufacturing off-road wheelchairs probably 3 years ago, and we are branching out into manual rigid wheelchairs. And so we're doing like aluminum stuff, titanium stuff, and it's just like super, super interesting seeing the process and working with a bunch of different materials. We just bought a $450,000 CNC metal bender to pump out rigid wheelchairs super, super quick.
Wow. Wowzers.
Getting into the manufacturing thing.
That's amazing. I had a friend, Dean Kamen. I haven't seen him for a long time, but that was his big thing was wheelchairs. Anything medical device. Yeah. So do you do other medical devices as well, or?
No, just wheelchairs right now. So my wife's in a wheelchair, and if she wants a replacement wheelchair, it costs $5,000. And so it's like, I know the metal of the wheelchair is like $200 or $300, and so there's no way in any world that it should cost $5,000. And so as we've been doing our manufacturing and doing beta wheelchairs and stuff like that, like our cost for a rigid wheelchair is around $700 or $800. And that's including wheels and side guards and front casters and foot plates and seat pans and everything. And so these other wheelchair companies out there are just making, a ton of profit off of people who don't have a whole lot of money in the first place. And so we're coming in to hopefully disrupt the whole industry, which is like quite a bit different than like my durability testing YouTube channel. But I think the manufacturing thing kind of blends in a little bit.
No, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I've always been a proponent that, if life is tough and you're in a wheelchair, we give a lot of garbage away to folks that want to stay home and watch TV and eat potato chips or something. For me, this is one of the things that the government should hand out, freebies. I'm not a big fan of government. I definitely am not a fan of giving out freebies. But when you get into a situation when you got a child, or in your case, a wife or somebody in a wheelchair, maybe if you can afford it, great. But, a lot of people can't really afford to toss $500 at transportation. So I wish you well on that. I think that's admirable. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's really fun. And luckily, the United States, like the American Disability Act from the United States is like miles ahead of any other country. So like if I travel with my wife to Africa or Sweden or even in Europe, like those countries are so inaccessible to people in wheelchairs. Yeah. So I'm with you on the government thing, but the ADA that the US has is miles ahead of any other country out there. So that part is great, but I do agree that like the medicine aspect or the disability aspect, or even with veterans, like we need to do a way better job with all of that.
Well, now you've hit the real hot soft pot. I'm huge. It's like my two biggest donations. One's to the Salvation Army, and the other one is to pretty much every veteran organization that's out there. As far as I'm concerned, those are the guys that we should definitely treat a whole lot better. I've talked to a lot of vets in all these different tours and whatnot that I've been on, and I just think that I don't think they're getting the shake that they should. That's for sure. Yeah, so I'm very impressed with you on that. So when are we going to see these wheelchairs? When do you think you'll have them up and ready?
So we've opened up the beta program right now, so people can buy them at a reduced cost. So we sell the beta wheelchairs at $500. So we're selling them at a loss, just to get
Yeah.
feedback on the units we're making.
Yeah.
But we won't have that massive CNC bender until probably January or February of next year. And so that's when we'll enter phase 2. Like, hey, we're able to handle demand, because there are probably 2 or 3 million people in the United States who need a wheelchair. And at the moment,
I thought it was even more than that.
at the moment, if they're looking to get a wheelchair from insurance only covers one chair every 5 years. And so that's like Cambry goes through a chair probably every 2 or 3 years. And so that the insurance thing in the United States is also just a giant scam.
Tell you what, when you get to that point, if you want free press or whatever, we can do that all day long. We don't get nearly as many hits as what you do, but different people look at different things, and if you want, we could make that happen all day long. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
let's plan on like early next year, maybe May or June is probably when we'll be ready to like go
for
public
full production.
and like bring it to more attention. We've been pretty quiet about it so far, just doing like some Instagram posts and things, and that's kept us busy with our small machines that we have here. But once that big machine comes, man, manufacturing is going to be legit.
Wow. Yeah. Well, like I said, yeah, you don't want to get too many orders before you can actually fulfill them, but that would be fabulous. And like I say, I'm into that all day long. Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, and then the second thing we're working on right now, because obviously the YouTube channel is what pays all the bills around here. On Monday, I have a piece of 12-foot diameter conduit being delivered at my house, and we're going to make an underground bunker.
You gotta be kidding! Wow,
sick.
Man alive! Actually, you were talking about Europe. Europe's got tremendous number of those things. You go to London and any old neighborhood and whatnot, and there's always something. Oh yeah, let me show you the backyard here. And you go down and there's a little, it just, all you see is just a couple of old rusty pipe kind of things, and it's the actual staircase. And then they lift up this transom door and you walk inside of history. It's like, yeah, that's going to be fabulous. And then you'll be immune to any nuclear attack, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, unless the bomb drops right on top of us.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to hit in Utah, so
whatever. There's nothing to hit in Detroit. How about that?
Oh yeah, it used to. Oh, you kidding me? We used to have where there's a school here called Cranbrook, and I think it's Cranbrook. But anyways, it used to be a nuclear site. They've got the ICBM things right there. It was gigantic because at that time, Detroit was the arsenal of the free world, and the arsenal of democracy is what they called it. Yeah, this place was a highly desirable target. Yeah, it was. It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I'm telling you, Detroit's a great place now. I can confidently say that if you came here and we went downtown, you'd have the best possible time you could ever imagine. It's changed a lot now. So is Frisco and LA, but they went in the opposite directions. We're going this way, they're going that way, and so it's tragic. But no, Detroit's a fabulous spot now.
What I was saying earlier is the bunker is 12 feet diameter by 40 feet, and so we're hoping to like build it out like a giant RV that's just like parked underground.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. I think it'd be great to have something like that. That'd be party central. Yeah, that would be fabulous. Cool. Yeah. So, have you got it laid out? Like, how many beds and kitchens and stuff like that you'd have in there?
Yeah, we've been working on it behind the scenes for about a year now, getting permits and stuff like that. Like, it's totally legit through the city and everything.
Oh yeah.
and so it should sleep 6 people, and then have like a kitchen and a bathroom and all that stuff. So it'll be
Yeah.
habitable for 6 people.
Well, that's cool. Um, just out of curiosity, so if it's 12 feet in diameter, how deep do you go? Like 20, 25 feet? How deep are you going down?
Yeah, so 18 and a half feet down, and then the tube will sit just like 6 feet below the surface.
So I assume you're going to have something you weld the two ends shut and stuff like that. You're going to do that before you drop it into the hole, or I'm getting all engineering, I know.
Yeah, so
but
there's 2 tubes, and we drop them in and we join the 2 tubes together. And then at each side of it, there's a flat plate, like an elevator shaft on one end, and then just like an escape hatch on the other end.
hmm,
So we do have to weld the tube to the flat plate inside the elevator shaft.
yeah. Just out of curiosity, breathing is always one of those things I'm kind of curious about. What sort of what kind of a
Yeah,
provision have you
oxygen is
got?
important.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So we have the entry and the exit won't be sealed, but there will be an air filtration system that should filter out particulates as well. So if there is like radioactive fallout, the air filtration system should handle that.
So how long do you think you could stay under there if the worst happened?
I'm shooting for a week, just because in the research that I have done, radioactive uh, danger, I guess, after a nuclear blast is around 7 days until like all the dust settles.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert in like all the radiation and stuff like that, but apparently the radiation can't get through your skin as well. The biggest danger is when you breathe in
Yeah,
the
your
radiation,
lungs. Yeah.
and then it's just like going off all inside of your body. Like that's the dangerous part.
Well, you've done your homework. I'm hoping that you never have to use it for that. Like I say, I like the idea of a party, but the underground party. Yeah, but I'm hoping we don't see any nuclear reactions.
There's some crazy world leaders out there, so
Yep.
you never know. I'm not a doomsday prepper. I'm just saying if the world's gonna end, it's probably gonna be nuclear.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's about it. I don't think we're going to get hit by a meteor. And, I mean, we've had the worst politicians ever, and so far the country has been able to fend them off. And then we also got the crazies all over the place. But all it takes is one guy with one finger, and Putin strikes me as a nutcase extraordinaire. So, yeah, actually, that's the main reason I'm enthusiastic about about having everybody change their mind on the Ukraine. I don't want to see a third world war, and that kind of we got 2 world wars that started out pretty much the same way. So
Yeah.
what else are you going on? I mean, you got everything going on. I got nothing. I got jack. I just come to work, make PowerPoint presentations, and that's it. I never get any fun.
Your job is great. Taking apart whole vehicles, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I think some of my favorite videos that you guys have done are like the battery teardowns, where like you show how the inner workings of the battery, like you guys unrolled one of those cells. Like that was fascinating.
Yeah, we tried to unroll it and then hang it from the ceiling, but it can't hold its own weight. It's how far can you drop a endless rope into an endless pit? Sooner or later, the ropes.
Interesting. Was
touch
it like
a strength.
tearing?
Yeah, it just ripped and fell down.
It was like tearing down the strip or something.
No, it went up so high, and then
That's weird.
somewhere near where the clamp was, it tore just a little bit below that and fell down. The weight of
Gotcha.
the strip was greater than the tensile strength of the the cathode. I
Substrate.
guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the thing that we're waiting for now, we're scrambling right now with a bunch of customers trying to get their projects done, but right now Probably the next thing we're going to do is hopefully the Cybertruck. I'm hoping to get that. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
That'll be sick. Do you guys have like pre-orders in, like day one pre-orders, or when did you order it?
We ordered one like almost immediately, and then the lines got choked and whatnot. It took days before we could get the second one. So we have two, I think, that are on order. One is relatively early, and then the other one will probably. Actually, I want to use that to trade. Some people have said that they'll trade our spot because they don't have the money right now or something like that. So trading spots is what some people have been talking about.
Yeah, I have one pre-order within like 10 minutes of the event ending, and then another pre-order like a month later.
Yeah, the one 10 minutes before it ending, it was an hour's worth of show or something, right?
Yeah.
Because they said that they had something like 1 million or something in the 1 hour, or it's a huge amount anyway. Hundreds of maybe it was 100,000 or something. Yeah.
To be fair though, like they're not like, so Rivian makes I think like 40,000 trucks a year or something. I could be wrong about that, but like
Yeah.
when Elon pulls the trigger on this Cybertruck, I think they'll be able to make, so many so fast with the whole gigafactory they have going in Texas right now. So like there's not going to be much of a ramp up. It's going to be fast when he goes.
Yeah. Well, everything's fairly simple. I mean, the having those two great big giant die castings and whatnot, people really don't quite understand how quick you can make things with those. I mean, they only take about a second to fill, less than a second to fill, and they have to sit in there for 20, 25 seconds to cool. Then they pull them out, and you basically they're degated and you're moving on the line. So in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, maybe at the most, you're out of there and into the milling machines, and the stuff that they've got to do to get it ready for production is like nothing. And that's where, I went through the plant, both in Germany and in Austin, and they're running at a 42, 43 second cycle time. Everybody else runs at 60. And that's kind of like, that's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. And the other thing is they're dead accurate.
Yeah.
So there's no fooling around, wasting time, bending things and whatnot to bring them back, worrying about whether a spring back in a sheet metal or anything. It's just, you just pump them out and go. So that's where Tesla's really going ahead. Actually, I just saw an article. I can't remember where it was, but apparently Tesla makes more vehicles than the next 19 people in line. That's quite a head start.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a handicap.
Especially now since all the other vehicle manufacturers appear to be on strike. So it's
yes, they do appear to be on strike. Yeah, they're all on strike now. Yeah. This is actually, the Chinese, I think, are dancing in the streets. This is exactly what they were hoping for. I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are. But once these, I don't know if you heard, but they want a 32-hour week, and they want basically ejects their value up to about 100 and, well, some high, as a high might be 150, but probably it'll be around, 90 to $100 an hour. That puts them in fully loaded with all the other benefits that they get. So that's a big ass number. That's going to be very, very difficult for anybody to sell, your next Dodge truck or Chevy Bolt. That's going to be next to impossible. It'll just push everything to Mexico or Canada or South America. Maybe the South Americans are dying for this kind of stuff. They'd be happy with $10 an hour. Yeah.
I do think that, like, if a company has record profits, they need to distribute that profits better with their employees.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, like a 32-hour work week seems a little extreme.
Well, I know that the car companies are under a lot of pressure from the shareholders who haven't seen much of a return. And now they're under pressure with the hourly guys. Something bad's going to happen. That's the way it works. I mean, I've gone through these things a few times already. And when the Japanese came over with their cars, GM had 50% market share. There was the North American industry was, I think, 89%, 89% with the big three. Now GM is 15%. That's a big ass drop, and they're not in first place in many. It depends on which month, but they're not always at the top of the heap. And a lot of that comes as a result of some of these contracts that they signed. I heard that Elon Musk is going to have 500 of his robot people running around putting cars together. That's a big number. That's half a shift. So yeah, if he's got that kind of stuff going in it, yeah, it's going to be tough to compete with. The guys don't go home; they just get plugged in. I mean, really, at the end of the day, what are they going to do? I give them a little lube job and some juice, some electricity, and and they'll be back at work in 8 hours or something. Yeah, it's going to be, and it's not going to be 32 hours a week. It'll be, like every day, 24 hours for whatever they can crank out. Yeah. So, what do they think about the strikeout in Utah? What's what do folks out there think about that?
I mean, it hasn't really been on the news. Well, I don't really watch the news, to be honest, but I haven't really heard very many people talking about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll hit Utah until like people can't buy cars or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll be able to buy cars, but they won't be able to buy big three cars. Well, that's the statistic that somebody was asking me about how many people were in the UAW, before about the time that the Japanese showed up. And that would be about 1.5 million. And now they have around 300,000 because the company had to do something. So what they did was offshore or outsource and stuff like that. And that just means I don't need as many union guys, UAW guys inside. Now, there's a bigger number that's floating around. That's for UAW also stands for United Aircraft Workers. And the UAW also has some of the tier ones and tier twos are unionized. But I think you'll still be able to get Rivians, still get any of the stuff from Europe. It's only the local guys that have the UAW. Yeah. So they're the only ones that are going to get hurt. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I really like my Rivian. That's what I'm in right now. So
yeah.
I guess this is working out good for them.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, my wife thinks that the Rivian is spectacular. Personally, if I'm working, I really like the Lightning. I love the Rivian, but my wife won't let me drive it. She says I'm a menace. So there you go. I can't do it.
She's probably right.
Yeah, she may be right. She may be wrong. We may be crazy, but at the end of the day, I think I should be allowed to drive it at least once a week. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
She's the boss, man.
Yeah, she is. That's exactly right. Yeah. You must have been peeking at the house again. Yeah. It's take out the garbage. Okay.
I just know my wife's the boss in my house, and it's the way it should be. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way it should work. So we're, like I say, we're just up to our tails in new product development stuff. You've got the big projects. All the projects that anybody wants to hear about, you've got them. Yeah.
So we have inside of my building right now, we probably have like 10 guys working for me. And at the moment, we're looking to hire another mechanical engineer, someone who can design mechanical things, because we're working on like a track chair and stuff like that. So if any of your audience, they do need to be local to Utah though, which is way better to live in than Detroit. So yeah, we are hiring at the moment.
Yeah. So are you in Salt Lake?
We're in Orem, which is probably about an hour south of Salt Lake.
Because I've given a couple of speeches at the university, and you you graduate some pretty smart characters. So that you may have a source closer than you think.
Yeah, we went through the career fair last week, and there's a lot of good kids there, but they don't graduate until next summer, so that puts us back a little bit. But yeah,
Wow.
but at least we're on their radar now.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's a good idea to have somebody with gray hair, but they fall asleep at their desks and stuff like that. That's the only problem with those old guys.
Hey, as long as they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And as long as their CAD design is not on cardboard, then we're good.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, don't do cardboard. Okay, two good things. You're just getting all kinds of good ideas here. Yeah. Well, to be quite frank, you've taken it away from me. I have no idea how I'm going to top the 12-foot by 40-foot underground bunker. So I'm just all out of I'm all out of questions. I don't know where we are with things, but
No worries.
but anyways, I'd like to thank you again, Jerry, for coming on board. I'm like I say, I'll probably have a lot more to talk. We would have a lot more to talk about as soon as I can get that Cybertruck in and start tearing it apart. I'd really like to have you come down and let you have a look and see what you think. And we may be seeing each other soon in October down at Austin, Texas there. So, and I'm sure it's going to be warm there.
Have they given them an official date yet?
I don't know, but I do know. What I do know is that I'm going to be invited, but that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, I booked.
Right on.
Yeah, I booked a whole bunch of time before and after when everybody's guessing, so I can't remember the date. I think it's like the 12th or 13th or something like that. And so I just booked some time around it. Keep my fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it's soon. It'll be really fun to have that be an end of the year, project for us.
Absolutely.
I won't take mine apart. You can take yours apart.
Yeah, well, maybe if I can't get two, I'll come down and drive yours. And the sun will be shining and the birds will be singing because it is Utah.
There we go. That's Utah.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks very much, Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great talking.
Thank you. Yep. Have a great day, and best of luck on your wheelchair project. That to me is I've said a lot about the bunker, but I'm really impressed with the wheelchair project. Good man. Thank you.